Well, hello, welcome to this English lesson about cold and snowy weather. If you are wondering why my lessons are all about snow and clean the driveway and cold weather, because it's really cold here. It's very snowy, it's very wintry. You saw that probably in my last video. Last night was the coldest night of the year. It was minus 25 degrees Celsius. Right now it's 8:30 a.m. and outside it's minus 21 degrees Celsius. I'm not super excited about going outside today. I'm sure it's going to be quite cold, but that just was the source of the idea for a lesson on cold and snowy weather. So once again, in this lesson, I'll teach you some words and phrases that we use to talk about cold and snowy weather. I hope they are things, words, phrases that you don't know, and they're going to be new, and you know it's good to review. Once again, welcome to this English lesson about cold and snowy weather.
It's freezing.
It's freezing.
This is a phrase that you will hear very often in a country like Canada. If you are in one of the coldest provinces, when we say it's freezing, it means it's really cold. So a phrase for cold.
Too cold.
It's obvious.
That's when it's below zero, water will freeze. We know that. But we've taken the word freezing and we turn it into a description of really cold weather.
So Jen might go outside
and come in and say, oh, it's freezing out there.
I didn't realize how cold
it is when.
We regularly
go to start our cars,
so they warm up a bit, and then when you come in, you say,
it's freezing out there.
It's
so cold.
So it's freezing.
It's freezing. A phrase that we use to describe it. Extremely cold weather.
If it was
minus 2 Celsius, I wouldn't say it's freezing.
If it's
minus 10 Celsius, I would probably say it's freezing.
So one of the reasons I'm doing this lesson
was that we have been hearing about the polar vortex. It's a pretty complex description, and we mentioned in the last week. Last lesson by Moed, polar vortex is when the cold air from the Arctic
moves down,
and we are kind of in Arctic weather.
So it's a mass of
very cold air from the Arctic. So normally we are in
an area where the air is relatively
cold,
like
normal temperatures will be minus 5.
But now the bitter cold Arctic air is now hitting
a mass of cold Arctic air will hitting us.
So they call this a
colder.
polar vortex.
So they call it
polar vortex. A mass of very cold
air
over
from the Arctic move over.
And that's when it gets super
It got super cold.
Layers. When it is this cold, it is important
that you dress in layers. If you see this gentleman here,
it looks like he has
a blue.
If you just look right here, you can see there's a little bit of blue.
He probably has a blue T-shirt.
Over top of that, he probably has a black long sleeves. And then on top of that, he has a sweater, and then on top of that, he has a winter coat.
And on top of that,
so he's probably wearing 4 layers. He might even be wearing 5 layers. This is very common when you dress in layers. Multiple pieces of clothes worn together for warmth. The layers trap a little bit of air between each layers, and that helps you stay warm. It's kind of like your own personal insulation. So when I went outside the other day, I had 3 layers on my legs. I have 3 layers on my legs. I have 4 or 5 layers for my upper body, and even a winter hat,
a
hood, and then another
hood the other day.
If you saw my members
only video, you see me in many layers.
Sledding, tubing, tobogganing. In the winter, hills get covered with snow. And snow
can be slippery. That means it's easy
to slide
on it.
As a kid,
it's
pretty common to go sledding. Is sliding downhill on the sled over snow. So gravity
pulls you down.
And the snow is very slippery
and allows you to slide.
So tubing is similar.
Sliding down a snow covered hill on a tube.
This is actually Originally, we would just use inner tube from car tires or tractor tires. Those actually slide on the snow very, very well. This is a special made just for going down a hill.
Just for going down the hill. The benefit of tubing is the inner tube or tube
is soft
and bouncy.
Because when you go down
on a sled, it can be very rough.
You're bouncing
around.
So when you're on
a tube,
it's a little more
comfortable ride, but
can also be pretty fast. And then tobogganing, sliding down a long flat sled called a toboggan. This is
less common now.
Less people have wooden toboggan.
It's kind of a traditional
type of sled. When I was a child, we did have a toboggan.
We did have a toboggan and all of us could fit on it.
So all five of us, my two brothers and two sisters, would all go on the toboggan.
We all go on a toboggan and on go down the hill. It's some random photo.
But if you want to enjoy winter, you would wear lots of layers.
And go outside, maybe go sledding.
Or tubing, or tobogganing. All very fun
activities when it's very, very cold.
I don't use
these.
But tire chains are metal chains put on tires for traction on snow and ice. In my area of Canada, it usually doesn't get this bad. And chains are often used in areas where you might have to drive up or down a hill or mountains regularly. But I don't know anyone in my area that uses tire chains. But they will definitely give you good traction. So tire chains are metal chains put on tires for traction on snow and ice. If you watch the YouTube channel Martin Doulard, I don't know if you ever watched him. He lives up in the mountain in Italy, and he regularly put tire chains on his cars in order to drive down the mountain or back up the mountain. So maybe if you search for Martin Doulard, Doolard, he's a Dutch guy that's within Italy. He's kind of rebuilding his old house. He's building a shop.
It's really interesting.
I'll put a link in
the description or in the comment when I'm done.
Frostbite. So extreme cold is very, very dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
When you go out,
when it's minus 10 or minus 15 or minus 20,
it starts to become very important that you don't have your skin exposed to the cold air. You must wear gloves. And you might even need to wear what's called a ski mask, where only your eyes and mouth show, because otherwise you might get frostbite, injury to skin caused by extreme cold. And they'll even tell you how long it's safe to be outside with your skin exposed. They might say don't stay outside for longer than 5 minutes, or you risk getting frostbite. So frostbite is
when the skin actually freezing.
So it's very important. Right now it's minus 21. Earlier. It's very important that I wear gloves when I go outside. I will also wear a winter hat. But if I'm just running to my car, I might not. But frostbite, injury to skin caused by extreme cold. To shiver. So it's pretty common. To shiver when it's cold. It means to shake because you are cold. And you might be aware of this if you go swimming somewhere where the water is cold. When the water is very cold, or when you come out, you might be shivering. So it's where your body tries to warm itself up by making you shake. To shake because you are cold. Interestingly, I don't often shiver when I'm outside in the cold. I often shiver when I come back in and take off my layers. Sometimes it's not very warm in the house, or sometimes you get like when you get a lot of snow on your gloves and in your gloves it can melt, and so your hands can get wet in cold weather, and then you will be very, very cold, and you will shiver a lot. To brave the
to
cold.
brave the cold.
So this is a pretty
interesting phrase.
To be brave,
means to have courage.
It means to do something
even though it's hard.
And we often use the phrase to brave the cold to talk about when you go outside despite very cold weather. If you have a dog, you have to brave the cold and take the dog for a walk. You probably don't want to go outside, but the dog has to go outside every day, 2 or 3 times to go for a walk. To go to the bathroom. So you need to brave the cold. If I look outside and think it's really cold, I still have to brave the cold and go to work. Like I can't just stay home because it's cold. I need to have courage. I need to decide that I'm going to go out and going to do what I need to do.